Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. Today I'm going to be going over with you guys the top 10 most popular fragrance releases of 2020 for men. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on the fragrances as well. So these right here, they're off screen, but you're going to see them in a second, are the fragrances that you guys, well maybe not you specifically, but a lot of people in the fragrance community talked about the most. Some of these fragrances I think are better than others, and it makes sense for the most part where these are. So let's go ahead and jump into this and go over the top 10 most popular men's releases for 2020. Before we start talking about the fragrances, I'm gonna let you know how I came up with this, and it's the same way I pretty much always do. I went off of the most popular fragrances on Fragrantica.com. So these are the most popular men's releases for 2020 according to Fragrantica.com as of when I'm shooting this video. In the future, these could change around, and honestly, I think that they will. I did talk about these a little bit in a previous video where I compared the top 10 most popular of 2020 to the top 10 most popular of 2016 because that's when I started this channel, but I haven't made a video specifically dedicated just to these. So let's go ahead and jump into this, and actually I'm gonna start with number 11, and I'll let you know why when I get to number 10. Number 11 is this one right here, Versace Eros Eau de Parfum. And I think that in the future, this one will move up the list a little bit. I think it's gonna overtake number 10, and honestly, I think it'll probably get into, the top maybe 7 or so. This one was released pretty late into 2020, and the way that Fragrantica bases their popularity, I believe, is mainly around how many people have voted on the fragrance and put, whether they like it or dislike it and what seasons they would use it for and all that stuff. So this one being kind of a late bloomer, at least as far as 2020 is concerned, makes me think that it's gonna move up the list, especially since it is part of the Eros line, which is really popular. It has mint, apple, ambroxan, vanilla, and leather as some of the notes in the fragrance. This one does have a lot of similarities to the Eau de Toilette, the original, which you would expect because this is just an Eau de Parfum after all. Basically take that Eros DNA, make it a little more mature, a little more grown up, and here you go, Eros Eau de Parfum. Not quite as syrupy sweet as the original. Like I said, a little more grown up, a little more depth. I do like Eros Eau de Parfum. I think that between the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum, at this point, I would rather wear this one right here. So pretty solid release. Number 10 is a fragrance that I don't own yet, but I have ordered it. I actually ordered it a couple days ago. So when that one comes in, I'll do a video for you guys and let you know if I like it or not. It is called Warm Black, and it's from Zara. It's got 3 notes, ginger, vanilla, tonka. So pretty basic, but that's how Zara does pretty much all their fragrances. They just hit you with 3 notes and call it a day. They really, frankly, don't care. This one, from everything I've read, is a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille clone. So it's a really, really affordable Tobacco Vanille clone because it's right at 20 bucks. Not very expensive, not gonna break the bank. As I mentioned, I've ordered it, it's on its way. So when that comes in, I'll do a video for you guys, let you know whether it's as good as some people say it is. I'm really hopeful that it is. I think that as time goes on, this will overtake that fragrance. I believe the Eros Eau de Parfum will ultimately be the more popular fragrance. I would be frankly kind of mind blown if the Zara held out its popularity over an Eros flanker. All right, on to the next one, number 9. This one's a little interesting to me. It's almost like it came out and a lot of people were kind of hyped for it. And then people talked about it for a little bit and then just seemed to fade away. And it's this one right here, Dolce Gabbana, the One Eau de Parfum Intense, the classic flanker of a flanker. Because initially you had the One Eau de Toilette, and then the One Eau de Parfum, which is the flanker, and then the One Eau de Parfum Intense. So it is a flanker of a flanker. This one is pretty nice. It's got a lot of cardamom in there. Cardamom is a note that people seem to love in general, especially when it's used in kind of a sweet, spicy, sexy way, which is what you're gonna get here. Really keeping in line with that whole date night kind of aura that the One line has. This one though also makes use of cashmere, which we've been seeing a lot more of lately. Cashmere gives kind of a fuzzy, warm feeling in the dry down of a fragrance. It is an aroma chemical that you see used in men's fragrances quite often. So you got that in here, along with a little bit of leather. You have some neroli as well, and some benzoin. It's a very solid fragrance for evening wear, solid fragrance for casual use and date nights as well. So I'm not really surprised to see that one in the top 10 when you think about the line that it comes from, The One, which is one of the biggest lines of all time as far as designer fragrances go. But this flanker just didn't seem to make as much of an impact as I hoped that it would before I smelled it. It's still good. It's a solid fragrance. For me, not one of the top 5 of the year, but still good. Number 8 is a fragrance that I think is awesome. Amouage Interlude Black Iris. This one is just fan-freaking-tastic. This is a flanker to Interlude, of course. This is the first flanker I believe that Amouage has done, and it is a heck of a flanker. It adds a little bit of orris in there. Not a huge dose, maybe not as much as some people were expecting, but enough, I guess, to do what they were wanting to do, which is to kind of make it a more wearable fragrance, to provide more of a contrast to the smoky facets, in particular, the opening of the fragrance as well, because the opening for a lot of people was off-putting, you could say. There's also leather in here, there's oud, there's olibanum, there's myrrh. This is fantastic. I love this fragrance. First time I sprayed it on, thought it was amazing, still think it's amazing. That one, you could put that wherever you want in this. You could put that at number 1 and I'd just be like, yeah, makes sense. So Amouage Interlude Black Iris comes in at number 8. Ooh, it's good. And one thing I'm gonna mention here really quickly, just in case anybody's wondering, Black Orchid Parfum is not in this list from Tom Ford. The reason is that is technically a unisex fragrance. It's not a men's fragrance. That's the only reason it's not in this list. Just wanted to let you know that in case you get to the end and you're like, wait, didn't Black Orchid Parfum come out this year? Number 7 is from Guerlain. It's from the L'Homme Ideal line, and it is this one right here, L'Homme Ideal Extreme. This one has leather, has tobacco, it has cinnamon, it has plum, and of course, almond, which you're gonna find in every fragrance in this line. This one is probably right there for me with the Eau de Parfum, as far as the cool weather fragrances in this line go. Very, very nice. I do wish maybe it had a little more emphasis on the tobacco, but I'm gonna take what they're giving me. And with the plum providing more interesting kind of facets of fruitiness in here, gets a big thumbs up from me. It's finally started to make its way to US discounters. This one was hard to find for quite a while. Unfortunately, it's not heavily discounted yet, but it is absolutely worth picking up if you like this line or if the notes look interesting to you. For me, I think it's very good. And actually the next fragrance is very good as well. We've got a few solid ones in a row here. Number 6 is this one, Paco de Cartier Parfum. This one is gonna be a little more mature than pretty much all the fragrances that we've talked about here so far today, other than maybe Interlude Black Iris, but I think that this one probably would be a little more mature than that one, at least as far as the age of the average user. It has sandalwood, it's got a liquor note in there, it has balsam fir, has tonka as well. It does have that Paco de Cartier feel to it, that Paco de Cartier vibe, which is that gentlemanly, sort of sophisticated vibe. Little sprinkling of barbershop-y facets going on here as well. Really nice fragrance. It does smell like an expensive fragrance, one that you can easily wear formally. You could wear this to the office as well without any effort whatsoever, other than, you know, just not showing up in sweatpants and a sleeveless t-shirt. You would need to at least put that much effort in. But other than that, effortless. It's got the typical Paco de Cartier bottle design, which you either love or don't love so much. Actually, it's supposed to resemble their watches, where you can turn the little dial on the watch, you see? Oh. Like I said though, this one, very good. Don't sleep on it. Great release. Okay, number 5 is from Paco Rabanne. It is a flanker to one of their most popular lines. And this one just didn't really work for me. I know a lot of people out there liked it. A lot of people liked it a whole bunch actually, but just never really seemed to work for me. 1 Million Parfum. This one has tuberose, salt, ambergris, and solar notes. Like I said, I don't really love it. Now it's done by a perfumer that I really admire, Quentin Bish. He's very talented. It's just, this one is not really what I was looking for in a 1 Million flanker. I'm not sure that the Parfum name makes a whole lot of sense in the fragrance. It doesn't really tie in with 1 Million to me at all, really. It's tuberose forward. It smells a little bit like suntan lotion to an extent. It's sweet, it's beachy, like a little tropical feel to it to an extent, which makes sense with the design here with the sort of almost solar flares coming out behind the one. But this one, to me, just wasn't really cohesive with the line that it's in. And the fragrance itself, I don't care for a lot. That being said, I know a bunch of people really enjoy it, and I'm not trying to rain on your parade. If you love that fragrance, wear the heck out of it. Number 4, another Parfum. Actually, this year is basically the year of the Eau de Parfum / Parfum flanker, which makes a little sense. I think it would be easier to take an existing DNA and just rework it slightly into an Eau de Parfum or a Parfum, and then say, here you go, here's a new release. So it makes sense. This year, obviously, has been challenging. But at number 4 is this one, Le Male Le Parfum. Now, whereas 1 Million Parfum didn't really work for me that much, this one does. And one of the perfumers on this one is Quentin Bish. So yeah, I'll take this one over the last one. It has cardamom, vanilla, iris, lavender, and oriental notes in the fragrance. And this one, a lot like Eros Eau de Parfum, or even a little bit like Paco de Cartier Parfum, is taking an existing DNA and tweaking it and reworking it and maybe slightly modernizing it as well. More depth here, more richness here. I would wear this over the original every day of the week. This one I like a lot. If you like the original Le Male, check this one out. I think it's an improvement over the original Le Male. I think it's also a little more grown up, a little more mature, especially over some of the fragrances that Jean-Paul Gaultier has had coming out lately, like Ultramale or Eau Fraiche, fragrances like that. This one is a little more mature than those, but in a very good way. And even if you're a younger guy, you can still pull that off. So Le Male Le Parfum, solid release. And we are in the top 3 for the year. Number 3 is a fragrance that I own, but not exactly, but yes. It's Beau de Jour. I own the private blend, so I own the original release of Beau de Jour, but now it's in the signature line, and I don't own Beau de Jour in the signature line bottle. So I own the fragrance, I know how it smells, I'm very familiar with the way it smells, I just don't have it in the new bottle design. And it's actually more affordable in the signature line. So I technically pay too much. But that means I have a collector's bottle now. Yeah, that's just me trying to make myself feel better. Lavender, rosemary, oak moss, mint, patchouli, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one has very much a classic man's vibe to it, but modernized. Some people will actually compare it to Davidoff Sino, and there's a similarity between the two. If you want something close-ish to Beau de Jour, but way cheaper, check out the Davidoff. That being said, Beau de Jour is fantastic. Great fragrance, one of the best of the year for sure. The only thing that makes me, I guess, slightly ding it is that it's not really a new release. But I absolutely understand the popularity. I understand why it was released in the signature line. I understand why people are hyped for it. They should be. Really good fragrance. Wear it formally, wear it to the office, wear it casually. You're gonna smell like $1 million. People are gonna think that you have your stuff together. Even if you don't, it's a great fragrance. Number 2, this makes sense. Pretty much anytime there's a flanker of this fragrance, it's gonna be somewhere in the top 3, top 5 of the year, even if it's a crappy flanker. It is Acqua di Gio Profondo from Giorgio Armani. So we have yet another modernized take on the Acqua di Gio DNA. Whereas Profumo took that DNA and added incense so that it had a little more of a slightly mysterious vibe to it, made it easier to pull off in the evening and maybe even wear in fall or winter. This one instead takes the DNA and focuses more on the aquatics while adding in some green facets as well. They've got rosemary and cypress in here. That's gonna help with that green feeling. Also got mineral notes in there. Couple of different aquatic notes, including aquazone. This one is though really nice. Like pretty much all Acqua di Gio fragrances, it's a big compliment puller. If you're buying an Acqua di Gio, you know why you're buying it. It's for versatility and for likability. And this one does that. You could pretty much take this one and Profumo, pair them up, and just wear it all year. You know, depending on the situation, go with this one. Maybe if it's a little hotter, go with Profumo. If it's a little cooler, you're gonna be set. And number one, this one actually number one by a freaking landslide. I don't think this one is gonna be overtaken ever. You're pretty much looking at your number one most popular fragrance from this year for all time, Dior Homme 2020. Now let me tell you why. The reason why this is gonna be number one most popular is not because so many people are wearing it, but I think that a lot of people probably are. The reason is because when this came out, it was really controversial. And so lots and lots and lots of people went onto the website just to downvote this or to try to counteract that and upvote it. And all kinds of people were writing reviews on the fragrance, and that has just boosted way above any of these other fragrances. They are not close. So I don't think this one's gonna get overtaken pretty much ever. And it is because of how controversial it was. If you're unfamiliar with Dior Homme or Dior Homme 2020, you don't know why it was controversial, it's because this is completely and totally different than Dior Homme. The fragrance was completely redone. The original Dior Homme makes heavy use of iris, and it comes across a little lipsticky. A lot of people would actually call the original Dior Homme a metrosexual fragrance, but it smells awesome. I absolutely love it. This one is very much a modern woodsy fragrance, a clean, modern woodsy fragrance. You have cashmere, you have Isoe Super, you have vetiver, you have cedar. Like I said, lots of woods in here, along with bergamot. What people were angry about is this one really takes a focus on the modern side of the woods. Like I mentioned, that means they don't necessarily come across like realistic smelling woods. Instead, it's just trying to be fuzzy and slightly sweet and enticing to the masses. And in terms of just straight up wearability, this has it in spades. It is extremely versatile. People really like the way it smells. It is a compliment puller. You can wear it basically anywhere. You can wear it to the office, casually, formally, on a date, whatever. It works. But people were angry that Dior took Dior Homme, which is a beloved designer, and then turned it into basically Dior Sauvage Homme. And by that I mean Dior Sauvage takes ambroxan and uses it in a way that's very versatile, people-pleasing, attention-grabbing, but ultimately ends up being so popular that everybody has it. They did that with Dior Homme, only instead of ambroxan, they were like, cashmere, Isoe Super, put it in the bottle. And here it is. So, number one most popular, Dior Homme 2020. This video ran long because I could not shut up, so I apologize for that. Guys, let me know in the comments below, what is your most favorite of these most popular fragrances and which one is your least favorite? As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. If you stayed until the end, thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow in another fragrance video. See you guys.